Welcome to Twist Tea, the podcast where we talk about all things scoliosis. I'm Caroline,
And I'm Faye.
and we are your Scoli besties. Today's topic is scoliosis life hacks. As a quick reminder, we are just your Scoli besties. Our opinions are our own from our individual personal experience. None of our content is intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice. Always seek the guidance of a medical professional before trying any new treatments. Any opinions shared by guests on our show are their own and do not reflect the opinions of ourselves or our project. Before we get into it, Faye, how is your back feeling today and what are you doing to take care of it?
My back is feeling better now than when I woke up. I'd say now I'm at like a 4 or 5. I feel pretty good. I was stiff this morning, but I had a PT session first thing in the morning and it was a really good one. So I feel like that kind of helped me get moving today. What about you? How's your back
Nice.
feeling today?
My back is feeling pretty good. I did a big workout yesterday, so I'm a little sore. I've been trying to do more strength stuff, still within like the realm of what I'm comfortable with, but I'm a little sore, and sometimes that can be confusing for my muscles because they're like, "Are we freaking out?" And I'm like, "No, you're good. It's okay." But I have a question about your PT. Is it online? Do you do it in
Yeah,
person or
so
do you have it?
I do it on Zoom or I think we use Teams now. But yeah, it's actually on my phone. I actually use one of my little self-tape like tripods and I have a
Oh,
phone
nice.
thing for it and I just that way I can move it around and tilt it up and down so that they can see the angle of my back as I'm going through my session.
Oh, that's amazing. I am having COVID memories and where that would have been a really good strategy. I was
That's
just
how they
like
started doing
placing
virtual
it.
sessions was during the pandemic.
Yeah, I should have used a tripod. I was just like stacking them on books and like holding my phone and then they would like fall. And you're just using your Schroth bars.
Yeah, I have my wall bars. Over the years, a lot of my exercises have become more and more customized, right? Because I've just been doing sessions for so long. So I have so many
Yeah.
little loops and bands and things. And some of them are
Hmm.
original from the clinic, and some are things that we've added over time. And then I use two commercial ceiling painting poles, like the telescoping lengthening
Oh yeah, for
ones,
this one.
for all of the pole stuff, because they don't really sell poles tall enough in the States. Obviously, it costs a
Hmm.
fortune to get them shipped from like Germany or whatever, and Pilates poles are too short. So I went to like Lowe's and
Yeah.
got those. Yeah.
That's what my physical therapist recommended is she was like, just go to Home Depot or Lowe's and get some like
Yeah.
long tube looking hunks of wood. And I'm like, oh, all right.
Yeah, I didn't even get the wood ones because they're heavy. So the telescoping like metal one, it like you can just extend it to be insanely long, but also it's lighter because it's made for like, being held and painting, yeah, the ceiling or
Going like
whatever.
this.
So it's they've been great.
Amazing. Today, we're talking about life hacks and just things that every day, as people with scoliosis, we've had to accommodate for or just kind of shift and change. Do you have like a list of things that you
I do.
were thinking of when we thought about life hacks?
Yeah. So we were kind of talking about how one of the easiest ways to injure ourselves historically has been cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
I like used to
That's like
throw
half,
my
more than
back
half
out.
my list.
Yep. Obviously, if you're in a position to hire somebody to help you clean your house, then I'd be like, do it if you have scoliosis.
Biggest life hack ever, be rich enough to hire a cleaner.
Yeah. But my biggest culprit, I used to consistently throw my back out doing this, is cleaning my bathtub. Like, without
Same.
fail, I would clean my bathtub and then, like, not be able to get up off the floor for like 5 hours.
Hmm.
Every time. I think it's something about the like leaning forward that happens in that. So, my life hack is that I actually use one of those toilet wands, the like disposable Clorox toilet wands with the like foam octagon on the end, to like I
Yeah.
rinse and I like do the scrubbing quickly with that first. I use some like spray scrubbing bubbles, whatever, something to kind of like
Hmm.
help, and then I just rinse it off. And it is, if you do it regularly, you don't really build up the soap scum. so you don't need to like get
Hmm.
in there and scrub so bad. So that is my first life hack is any kind of extendable
Yeah.
wand, or you could even use like a microfiber cloth or scrubby cloth on the end of a Swiffer, but just something that gives you like
Hmm.
an extension so that you don't have to do that like leaning over with
Yeah,
pressure
that bend.
movement. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is, because that's always been a trigger for me too, specifically cleaning the bathtub, where it's like you're leaning, you're bending, and you're extending. And it's like it's that like combination, and then you're like trying to do all these crazy angles in that. So anything to like lessen any of the extending or bending is key. I think I'm gonna steal that because I'm still looking for a better solution for washing my bathtub because I got one of those extendable scrubbers that like it like turns on and it does kind of the scrubbing action for you, but it's not a flexible top. And so I'm still doing all of these weird angles and like extending my back in a way that's uncomfortable. And then when it's on, it kind of is like hard to wrangle. And I'm like, okay, this is not actually making my life easier. The only thing that I've adopted that I think is very helpful, and you kind of mentioned this, is it's like if I just do it frequently, don't really let the soap scum build up, then I can just kind of do a more passive wipe down and cleaning and just kind of doing it little bits and at a time frequently will keep my shower clean and my back, and I'll still probably lay down or like roll out my back right afterwards.
Well, the other thing that can be helpful if you do get the soap scum and you have to scrub like hard is that I try to
Yeah.
use my feet and my body weight to do it instead of my arms. So like I will
Ooh,
stand in the
smart.
shower and stand on, like the green tough sponges and try to like
Yeah.
do it with my feet.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah, because the thing is, it's like our upper body just can't get the leverage and not hurt our back, right? Like, but if I'm just
Yeah.
standing, I kind of make it like a game of can I scrub the tough stuff with my feet and like it weighs more because I'm standing on it. I even
Yeah.
sometimes use like, the like iron kind of shaped like scrub brushes with the handle.
Hmm.
I'll even like put my foot through that and use that if I really need to
Ooh,
scrub
smart.
that hard. But I won't do it with my hands because as soon as I do it with my hands, I totally screw up my back, my
Mm.
wrist. I get like numbness, like it just all the bad symptoms just kind of
Yeah.
like come out to play. And then usually from the leaning forward, my low back goes and it's just all bad. So
I
that is
think
my biggest hack is using the wand and then using my feet.
okay, wand and feet. I'm gonna try that. I've also tried doing it like while I'm in the shower, just getting like a scrub daddy for in the shower, and I'll just kind of like scrub down quickly while I'm in there because there's like less of that awkward. Like if you're on the outside of the bathtub and you're bending in, I feel like that's a
Yeah.
pain point. Whereas like if I'm just in it and just like accepting that like we're a part of this now, like
Yeah,
I
like you could
think
clean
that,
it and then just shower.
and then just shower, like just
Yeah.
do it naked. It's great.
Yeah.
That's kind of goes into like my overall life hack, which goes into our last episode's topic of just kind of the bare minimum. I feel like one of my mantras when I'm cleaning is better is better than perfect, where it's like I'm just trying to make it a more functional space. Like rather than trying to make my bathtub perfect, I'm just trying to make it better than it was before. And insert that with any type of cleaning, like mopping the floors or like vacuuming or anything that involves a lot of like heavy duty stuff. Like just make it better than it was before. Like we don't need to make it perfect. Like Martha Stewart isn't going to come over and like check the dust or anything. Like I just want to be in a slightly cleaner, more functional space. And I do like cleaning bursts where I used to try to clean like my whole house in a day. Like Sundays were dedicated to cleaning the whole house. And then that turned into like very overwhelming and like my back would just be screaming at me. And so I've divided it more into like smaller bursts. And have you heard of zone cleaning or like the fly lady
Um,
method?
you explain it, so I maybe haven't heard it.
So I got really into it also during the pandemic was it's called the fly lady cleaning method, where you break the house into different zones and you're on like a month long cycle where it's like by the end of the month you've deep cleaned pretty much every part of your house, but not the whole house in one day. It's very like it's supposed to be very ADHD friendly and just like busy mom friendly. That's kind of where it came from was it was a busy mom who had undiagnosed ADHD probably, who felt every time she wanted to clean her house, she just got like overwhelmed
Mhm.
with the amount of dysfunction there was and then just like wouldn't clean her house. But her whole thing is like start with the little stuff and she has like these routines that she does every day that just kind of keep her cleaning up after herself throughout the day. And then her deep cleaning is segmented. So, like, for example, the kitchen is its own zone. And so, if the kitchen is the zone for the week, that's all you need to worry about for the week, other than like your daily tidying up after yourself stuff and the things that you need to do every day so your house isn't gross. Like for me, one of my daily non-negotiables is I have to clean the cat litter, like I have to scoop that.
Yeah.
But other than that, like cleaning the kitchen, I can break that up into 7 days. Like I'll clean the stove, I'll go and clean the stove today. And that's all I need to do. Don't take don't make yourself have to clean the entire kitchen. Just break it into these little spots. Or you can like dedicate one day to cleaning and then the rest of the week you don't have to clean anything, which is normally
Mhm.
what I do. But it's just kind of like breaking up your cleaning into more manageable bite-sized pieces and then hoping that the bite-sized pieces will actually create momentum that after you clean your stove, you're more likely to want to clean your counters. And then after you clean those, you're like, well, I can clean my sink. And it's just kind of
Mhm.
like tricking yourself into cleaning without being overwhelmed with the like, you have to clean the entire house today and it's a pigsty. It's like just kind of giving yourself a little more leeway, a little more grace. And it's been really, really helpful. And so doing that along with just being relatively tidy and like when I cook, I'll do my dishes right away so they don't have to like build up.
Mhm.
And it's basically like a way, and she calls it Fly Lady because I thought it was like a literal fly, and I was like, that's not cute. But it's like she's flying around her space and just
Oh,
kind
I
of like
see.
touching, touching, touching. And so if you're on your to-do list is the bathroom, you just kind of go in there and you like set a timer for like 15 minutes and you get everything done in 15 minutes that you can. Or like it's just like finding ways to make it quicker and easier and more manageable. And I feel like that's been really helpful for my back too.
Yeah, I
Because it's like
definitely
but good for
like the
my brain
timer.
and yeah, the timer's
Yeah.
big.
Yeah. Because I sometimes I like to meal prep, but the problem with meal prepping is then you have tons of dirty dishes,
So
right?
many dishes.
And standing and washing dishes is something that my hack is I wear a like a waist trainer back support if I'm gonna wash a ton of
Mm.
dishes, just because there's something about, again, it's like the slight lean forward, arms forward. It's
Mm-hmm.
just pulling enough on my like mid and low back that it just after a while it gets really, really irritated. So if I know I'm in for like a bunch of dishes, if it's gonna be more than 15 minutes, then I'm like, put the brace on, lock in,
Mm-hmm.
get those gloves. We're going to do this, right? But I also think that setting a timer and being like, let me not do this to myself more than 25 minutes is
Mm-hmm.
also smart because you can do your dishes in batches and you will still get them clean, right? Like
You'll get them
there's
done.
that sort of all or nothing, like, oh, I'm going to do them all at once is so tempting because it's satisfying that way.
Yeah.
But it can really wreck, because standing in one spot or holding a certain posture for that long can really
Yeah.
irritate
And
everything.
like especially if you're like scrubbing.
Yeah.
For my dishes hack that I have here, is get one of those squishy foam mats for in front of your sink. Like
Mhm.
anywhere in your kitchen that you're standing for a long time, like if I'm standing on just on the wood or like just a basic mat, my low back starts to cramp, especially like I'm having memories of like Thanksgivings past where like you just have like a mountain of dishes and my back hurts so bad. But my old roommate was a chef, and so she had those like restaurant level mats just because she has everything like restaurant quality. And the first time I did dishes on that, I was like,
Yeah.
this is making a big difference. So now we insist on having that. I need to get one for the stove too, because I spend a lot of time over the stove. But just like one of those good squishy mats, and they don't need to be restaurant quality. Like you
I was
can
gonna
get them
say
at
the
like Target or
barbershop
Walmart.
version too, those gel,
Yeah.
they make those for hairdressers. Yeah. I think I mine is
Hmm.
currently it's like a little bit of foam. It's not quite as great as
Yeah.
like the full rubber or like the gel ones, but it definitely
Hmm.
does help to have some cushion because yes, your feet and then your arches drop and like the position of your
Yeah.
legs and
It's all
yeah.
connected. So it's like if your feet are sore, then your knees, and then your hips, and then your low back, and then and then you wake up
Yeah.
with a crick in your neck the next day, and you're like, what
My other hack for when I wear the back supporter is when I do my hair and makeup,
the? Ooh,
especially if I
yeah.
style my hair. Oh man, I have hurt my back so bad. Like, because especially at times in my life, I've had hair like down to my butt, right? And I have a ton of it.
Yeah.
And so it takes me like 45 minutes to curl. So if I have like an audition and I have to have curly hair, that means I have to stand there and dry it, which also takes 25, 30 minutes.
Takes a
And then I
long
have to curl it.
time. And it's a
Sometimes I'm
lot of
standing
this.
there. Yeah. And you're like arching
Hmm.
and you're doing, so wearing that little, like it is literally just like a waist trainer, but because it has the two levels of tightening, I can like pull one higher and one lower. Like I can actually kind of make it work for like my curve. And
Hmm.
then I have this support when I do my hair and makeup. So that's my other like standing hack is that.
Yeah, that's good because I actually don't have a life hack for doing my hair. My life hack is that I just don't, I just don't do it because like I would always try to braid, like learn how to French braid my hair, and I would just one, I'm not just not naturally like tactile in that way. And I have so much hair that like I I just got overwhelmed and then my back would hurt and then I would just give up. And so I guess ultimately my life hack is actually just have long, pretty hair that other people are like, ooh, can I braid that? Can I do your hair for you? And I have gotten this far in life. I am 33 years old, and I've gotten far enough in my life where it's like, I just kind of expect other people to volunteer to do my hair. And they did it. I was just at a wedding last weekend and I was like, I don't know what to do for my hair. And I guess I'll just like do a little half up, half down, like easy peasy thing. And then one of the girls was like playing with my hair and she was like, please let me braid it. And I was like, go for it.
You're like, you don't say. I guess so, maybe.
Oh, I guess you could if you want to. And she's like, I would love to. And I'm like, thank you. So that's
That
my life
is,
hack, which
that's
is
a,
not very,
I feel like that's very much a hack though. Like the
that's a hack.
definition of a hack, you just nailed it. And
Not
then
helpful at all, but you
I
know.
mean, I don't know. You fulfilled her. She wanted to. She probably is like, man, I don't get to braid anybody's hair, and you
Hmm.
just supported that dream. So
Like play all you
excellent.
want. Do everything you want.
Another life hack I have is toe spacers and high heels.
Ooh,
Um,
yes.
yeah.
Your high
Now
heels ideas are brilliant.
I'm obsessed.
All of
I'm going
them.
to get my shoe line for back support one day. But also, I love high heels, which, like, no matter how you design that shoe, like, it could be hard to stand in those just because they're so high and they're putting your body, you're pitching your weight really far forward. But one thing I have
Hmm.
noticed is that if I wear a toe spacer, not like between all five toes, but just between my first and second, like one of those kind of like big hourglass chunky gel ones.
Hmm.
I my back lasts. 3 times as long if I do that.
Wow.
Yeah. And if I
What
wear
about
like an
open-toed shoes?
well, so that's the thing is it's ugly in open-toed shoes. We should make cute ones that are like little rhinestones or like almost like like a toe ring. I think we should make like
Yeah.
decorative toe spacers.
We have
Um,
so many business ideas now.
because it's worth it.
We're
Because the
we're
difference
developing
in
a
how your
chair, some shoes.
chairs, some shoes, some toe glam toe spacers. I think it's worth it. I mean, if I know I am going to be on my feet a lot, I'll just try to pick a shoe where I can hide it. Or if you have like pantyhose on, it's less obvious.
Yeah.
Like, yes, if you look closely, you can be like, is that a toe spacer? But like in the scheme of things,
Hopefully people aren't looking at your feet that much.
hopefully not that much. But if you're in like open sandals and it's just like two little tiny straps, obviously that's going to be really hard to do unless it's like a decorative one, which we come up with. But picking tall shoes that can hide the toe spacer then, but the toe spacer makes a world of difference over time.
Yeah, I have to try that. Because
Yeah.
again, my life hack is not a life hack at all. I've just avoided high heels. Like, I just like, I can't really do them because, and in my head, I'm like, well, it hurts my back, so I'm just not gonna. But
Well, my back hurts in flats also. So I will sometimes just wear, like,
yeah.
if I just know I'm going to be, like, if I'm volunteering, right? Like, if I volunteer at, like, Angel Food Kitchen or the food bank during
Hmm.
the strikes, whatever, you're usually standing the entire shift. So I would wear a toe
Hmm.
spacer even in my sneakers. Because just
Yeah,
standing, there's something about, like, the position of my arch that changes when I have the toe spacer, and it just makes so much better. You can
very
buy them at,
helpful.
like, any drugstore, but there are some that are better than others. So I can send you the links to the ones I use. The reason I like them is because it's just between your first and second toe. The ones that go between all your toes tend to hurt after like 30 minutes. So you can't realistically
Yeah.
wear them all the time. Like I think they're too uncomfortable. And your shoe won't fit because your whole foot's so much wider. When you just wear the one between your first and second toe, some of your shoes might not fit, but a lot of them will work. So that, yeah, that's one of my hacks. What's your next hack?
I have one for pulling weeds for like
Ooh,
gardening. I feel like the main theme with all of mine is that I can't do anything for too long. I guess it's not a life hack as much as it is just like a modification. We go outside at the end of the day and we call it playing in the garden, where we just go for like 20 minutes and we just do a little bit at a time. And then I got one of those grandpa's weeders for pulling weeds, where you stick it in the ground and then you just have to pull that way. It's not as much like bending over. You still have to do some bending over to like pick them up, but you can just kind of, and it's very satisfying. It's like the same satisfaction as like popping a good pimple, where you like put it in and it just like gets it at the root and you're like, yes. So that's a good one. And then just limiting yourself to 15 to 20 minutes rather
mm,
than like being like, we're going in the yard and we're working all day. Like pretty much I just cannot do that. That's just not part of my life journey at this point. Is like I'm a that fly lady method of like we're just gonna like throughout the day is kind of how I have to do everything. And then in that kind of mixed in insert like mopping the floors, cleaning the bathtub, going in
yeah.
the yard. I do love to do some like core exercises either before or after just to engage it. Before is normally better, right? Because then it's like prepares you like some dead bugs on the floor,
Mm.
or I do like folding my laundry or cleaning the bathtub. But then I do normally do it after because I like forget until my back is like screaming at me. And then so I'll do some like core exercises just to engage and then like help my rotation and then foam rolling
Hmm.
after. I'm just a big foam roller. I just love rolling on the
I
floor.
think I don't know if aftercare is the right, but like the cool down of like understanding that
Mm-hmm.
you've just used your back a bunch and that it's
Mm-hmm.
probably going to feel worse. And so you take the time after you're done with your chore or thing that you're doing to like take care
Mm-hmm.
of it for 15 minutes, 10 minutes, five
Yeah,
minutes
like add
even.
that into your cleaning
Yeah, like that it's just
regimen is
part of
like you
it.
have to. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like for
Yeah.
me, I'll often just have to like lay flat or lay on a corrective wedge, right? Like for my rotation. One hack I have is when you're carrying groceries, like it depends on if you take the cart all the way to your car or if you have to carry them a few blocks or, whatever your situation
Mm-hmm.
is. But I always try to do my like self-correction posture and then like flex my
Yeah.
abdominals and then put the weight in my arms. I used to just
Yes.
like sling things on my arms and then just like heave it up. Yeah. And
Same.
ooh, after a few steps, your body's like, why are you doing this? What is
Mm-mm.
happening here? And if I actually
Especially
like
like
think of
apartment
it,
living.
oh yeah, like you're pulling it up the stairs. So if I
Mm-hmm.
actually think that I'm going to use it as a corrective exercise and like I'm about to like load bear on like a positive self-correction and use
Yes.
that challenge of like, can I rib shift towards the center and then like brace my shoulders in the right position and then brace my abdominals and then like push from my legs and then like use my butt. Like you have to use your butt muscles to go up the stairs and like keep the weight as even as possible
Yeah.
and
Turn it into a PT exercise.
so that it's like a really conscious, supported weight bearing motion instead of just like a
Mm-hmm.
passive weight bearing. Because as soon as, especially if you have larger curves, right? As soon as that curve is past 25, 30 degrees, any weight is going to just like push it down. And so you have to like
Mm-hmm.
actively fight it so that it doesn't. Because I think a lot of the pain that I experience is from the bend and then the release. It's the back and forth of the curve throughout the day that actually
Mm-hmm.
hurts. It's the shifting. Because sometimes after a really intense PT session, I will actually hurt a little and then I have to like rest and then I'm okay, right? Because you've
Mm-hmm.
moved it a bunch and sometimes this your natural
It's like,
reaction to the movement is just like, ow.
yeah. And like a lot of those muscles that were like maybe numb or dormant are like waking up and then they're like, what are you
Yeah, they're
doing?
like, you want me to do
What are you
what?
doing?
Yeah.
I've been asleep. And then that
Yeah.
hurts.
And then I'm very careful about what type of bags. So like I love a crossbody bag, but as
Me
soon as it
too.
goes over like a pound, I try
Mm-hmm.
to switch it to a backpack.
I was a backpack girl for a very long time. It wasn't until like they started like I know movie theaters and like concert venues and stuff like that, they don't allow backpacks, and that's when I started to like switch over. They don't allow backpacks for very good reasons, very scary reasons. But I was rocking a backpack for years. I thought they were cool. I still think they're cool.
I actually think fanny packs are our best friend. So when I walk my dog, I use a fanny pack. It's not, I mean, I'm not like the flyest looking thing, but at least they're kind of back in style
They're
somewhat.
back, but what's frustrating is they're back in the crossbody look.
I know, I
You're like,
know. But
bring it back
I
on the
mean, I
fanny.
feel like you could wear it like that for like a little and then switch it.
Yeah.
But the nice thing is if you can prevent having any weight pushing down on your shoulder. Also, I use an elastic leash.
Is that like stretchy?
Yeah, so it's an elastic. So basically, if she pulls, I can see that she's starting to pull without it yanking me like torso forward. Yeah.
Yeah, because you have a big dog too. So if she pulls
Yes.
on you,
Oh yeah. I mean, she could just drag. She's 96 pounds. She could just drag me across this street.
pure muscle.
Yeah. Thankfully, she's pretty good. She doesn't go like bolting after squirrels and stuff too bad. But it doesn't take much for us to tweak our like if we sneeze wrong, we hurt our backs, right? So like
Exactly.
the
If I
last thing
didn't
I
sleep
want
right and then I sneeze, we're done.
you're done for. Yeah. So having
Done.
that little like extra give before where I can like brace my arm to then pull from my arm or my lats instead of getting like yanked from my rib cage
Yeah.
that's really helpful. No.
I feel like that and what you were just saying about groceries and stuff is kind of what I've been trying to apply to a lot of things. Like yesterday, I mentioned I did a workout class, and like before I went into any of the exercise, like squats or lunges or something, like I would just have to go slower than everybody else because what my first thought is my rotation and like how I'm bracing my back, and I kind of have to get that rotation in first and then start the movement rather than just kind of going into the movement naturally, like or without thinking about it. And my teacher actually, she kind of called me out. She was like, "You can do it. You can do it faster. I believe in you." And then I had to be like, "Oh, I have something I need to tell you after class." Like just trust me. I have to go slower. And then when I talked to her after the class, she was a little horrified that she was suggesting she was like, "I'm so sorry. Like, don't listen to me. Do whatever you need. Like, your back is really important." I guess that's important too, is like whenever you're going to a class that you know you're going to do modifications in, just like let the teacher know because that's
I
just
usually
important to me.
start actually telling everybody about the scoliosis like from the intake form. And
Yes.
I and
Yeah.
the other and this is, I mean, I guess you could call it a life hack, but I just think this is important to know is like don't, out of whether that is pride, not wanting to be a difficult, whatever, do not minimize what
Mm-hmm.
you need for the comfort of some other instructor or the gym or whatever. Like, if anything, they should be like, "Are you sure you can do this?" In which case, you can be like, "Yes, I have been cleared to do exercise by my
Yes.
doctor. I just will need these modifications." But be so upfront about it from the very, very beginning so that there is
Mm-hmm.
no doubt. Because what can happen, and this happened to me a couple times when I was younger, where I would like downplay it. And I was a dancer, I
Mm-hmm.
was like
Me
a
too.
athlete, right? So I was always like, well, I don't want to need special treatment. But then what would
Right. That's not
happen?
fun when you're young.
Yeah, but then I wouldn't say anything, and then they would come and be like, "Oh, this is off," and they would like push me or
Mm-hmm.
pull, like not realizing that it's like not bad alignment from a form misunderstanding standpoint, but rather that like my
Mm-hmm.
body's just shaped that way. And so I had some where like they would push you and then it would really hurt, and you'd be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you actually, that rib just is shaped this way."
Subluxed now. Thank
Yeah,
you.
like it doesn't go in, that the way you're trying to
Mm-hmm.
get me to do it. Like, I am already at my max of derotating to
Yeah.
the point that I can, and them shoving it is not gonna help. And so I think that in a way it's a hack, but it's just an important thing is like, don't be embarrassed to advocate for like,
Yeah.
I have to go slower, or or even if it's just that it's irritated that day, my back is having a off day
Mm-hmm.
today. I'm not going to jump, or I'm not going
Yeah,
to go down to the
jumping, that
floor,
comes up a
and I'm not
lot.
going to do like burpees or something, And if they have such an issue with it, then that might not be the right place for you to go train.
Yeah, I think that is really, really wise. And yeah, again, it's like, is it a life hack or is it just kind of a mental shift? Because we've talked so much about workout classes and workouts, because like both of us are active people. And like one of the kind of ironies of scoliosis is that like we need to work out. We need to build strength. We need to take care of our bodies, make sure the blood is moving and the muscles are strong and malleable. And the best way to do that is to work out, but a lot of workouts are also triggering for pain. And especially if you're kind of throwing your body into what you think the shape is supposed to be. Like I got in so much trouble with yoga because I would insist on twisting and pulling and like I wanted to look just like the instructor. And it's taken me many years of humbling moments to be like, I don't need to look exactly like what the instructor looks like because I'm such a good student. Like I want to be that front row A plus student in my like dreams, but it's hurt me to like
Yeah.
I've like hurt my hips. I've hurt because I'm also hyper flexible, which is a very common scoliosis
Hmm.
girly thing, is it kind of comes with a bit of hypermobility. And so it's so easy, especially when I first started with yoga, to like throw myself into the stretch or throw myself into the twist and then to only then develop injuries that would like kind of slowly gain momentum to where now when I'm in class, like my twist is this is for people watching, not rather than listening to the podcast, but it's like my twist is more like that now. Like I'll just twist that much onto either side
Well, how
rather
many
than like
vertebrae do you have that are not held by the rods that you can twist like that?
Well, it's my entire thoracic. It's like T2 to L2.
Okay.
So yeah, like there's not really a lot of twisting going on in that section anyway, but like kind of going into the lower back. That's where a lot of the problems we're having was at that junction between the low back and the thoracic because I was just like wrenching it.
Right.
Then, and then that would mess with my sternum. And then my sternum would do all kinds of weird stuff. And so I've just had to like remember over and over and over again, and it is a practice that I just need to kind of go slowly, and it's more about the muscle engagement than the like stretching.
Yeah.
And I think that that's pretty common for people with scoliosis is that we tend to be pretty flexible and it's cool to be flexible, I thought. So it was like I'm gonna like go hard in this and then I'm like 28 and hurting and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Uh-oh, that's not
Yeah.
good."
Well,
So
and I think you
it's
also want to
a
make
mind
sure your
shift.
instructor is not going to use, because like I remember as a dancer, I was obsessed with trying to be even right and left because I had scoliosis, but
Yeah.
a lot of dance teachers would be like, "Oh, you have a good leg. We're going to choreograph your whole solo to just kick the one leg that already goes super high," and not realizing that it goes super high because my ribs shift over away from it
Oh,
and my
like there's
hips are,
space for it
yeah,
to
and
like
so what you end up doing is you're practicing the same wrong posture again and again and again and again and not
yeah,
even
and then
ever doing the
reinforcing
other
that.
side. Yeah, and
Hmm.
so understanding or being willing to set that boundary of
Hmm.
like I'm not going to indulge in my curve to like look cool unless I'm
Yeah, that
willing
does
to
take
then
some
train the
uh,
other opposite way equally, which almost nobody wants to do. Um,
mm-mm.
and so that's tough because like, your coach will encourage you to do that too. They'll be like, "Oh, but you have this
Hmm.
like it's talent." And it's like, "No, it's bad alignment." But like but your leg goes so
It's a trick.
high, you know? And so they're like, "But just like it looks so pretty, like why would you, you know?" And either be willing to go do the opposite, even it out on your own, which again, most
Yeah,
people won't,
that takes a lot of self-discipline. Yeah.
or be willing to talk to your coach about it and be like, "This is a health issue, not a talent issue. I know my one leg
Hmm.
goes really high, but can you mix it up? Or can we drill both sides
Yeah.
until the competition?" You know, like you do have to protect yourself because hypermobility looks cool. And for certain things like dance or gymnastics or rhythmic gymnastics
Yeah,
or
it's
certain sports,
celebrated.
it is like a plus to be hypermobile. And
Hmm.
not to take away from that, I'm like, use your talent, but also like understand there's consequences if you don't support it properly and
Yeah.
you just indulge in it. And so, yeah, I don't know if you'd call that a life hack so much as a word of warning, but
Yeah, it's
um,
like that's just some like wisdom that we had to earn through doing it
the wrong way.
the
Yeah.
wrong way and then being in a lot of pain and then having to kind of like have that humbling lesson taught over and over again. And I'm like, okay, now I'm
Or just
starting to
having
get
that
it.
repetitive injury and being like, why does this
Hmm.
keep happening to me? You know? And,
Hmm.
you know, one thing that people don't always realize is if you're an athlete or a dancer, cheerleader, you know, you're physical, you're using your body all the time.
Yeah.
Scoliosis can lead to other injuries, not just your spine. And that's what a
Yeah,
lot of
like your
people
hip.
don't realize. You will
Hmm.
get hip tendonitis, knee issues, elbow issues. I had wrist
Hmm.
problems for a really long time. You might roll one ankle all the time. Like the misalignment in
Yeah.
your spine is one symptom of misalignment, but the misalignment is
It's kind of like a
exists in your
little like,
entire body. Yeah. Yeah.
hmm,
And so you have
I know
to
I'd love to get
train
like
really
a
smart.
I'd love to get like what is it, like a heat map of my body or something? And I bet it would be like very like ding, 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 like just kind of
Yeah.
going up the body. Because like my right knee is kind of weird. And then my left hip is kind of weird. And
Yeah.
then my curvature is on my right side. So that it's like literally just like
It
ding,
generally
ding,
travels up in
ding.
a
And
zigzag.
then
Yeah.
my left shoulder is it's like I'm like a literal perfect zigzag.
Hmm.
I guess the life hack in this would be learning how to advocate for yourself too, like self advocacy when like I'm gonna be proactive and go talk to the teacher of or the instructor of the class or whatever it is, like be like honest about your situation and then just like let them know. Like, and this is a lesson I'm still learning because yesterday I should have talked to her before class, but instead I talked to her after she was like, "Come on, Caroline, you can do it." And it was specifically a glute bridge, like
Mm,
one-legged glute bridge, which is really tricky for me because of the rotation.
yeah.
And so I'm like, I have to keep both legs on, or else I'm gonna be like wobbling and like my form's gonna go out the window. Like there's a way for me to do it. Just I need to be really slow and really mindful. And the exercise of the class was very quick and we're doing it on a timer, so I was just gonna do a modification of it. And so after class, I talked to her. And so now I want to like make that a really important note moving forward is like, I'm just going to be proactive and tell my teachers
Yeah.
about it's like just understand that if you see me doing a modification, it's like I've been working with physical therapists for years at this point. Like I understand what my body can do and doesn't want to do. So if you see me doing a modification, just trust that I'm,
You're like,
it's
I'm not
not that
being
I'm,
lazy. I'm not being
yeah,
disrespectful. This is just what I can. Yeah,
like
these are my
I'm listening to
limitations.
you. I wish I could do it. I wish I could do it the way you're talking about it. But I'm just not there here. I'm not there right
Yeah,
now. So
and
I'm
know
listening
that
to my
like
body.
some environments, like CrossFit, sometimes boot camp style, like there's these
Yeah.
like, there are certain cultures for certain types of workouts that are like pushed here, go faster, like push, push, push.
Hmm.
And just be aware that that might not be the best environment for you if you have
Yeah.
a chronic body issue like scoliosis or any sort of misalignment, alignment
Hmm.
instability, because a lot of those coaches are there specifically to just push you harder, and
Yeah, like that's their whole thing.
that might
That's like what
not
they're trained in.
be wise. And it doesn't
Yeah.
mean that you can't do super intense workouts. You can't, you know, go nuts at the boxing gym or like run a
Hmm.
marathon. I'm like, go for it, but understand that your training and how you approach it may have to be different from what everybody else is doing. If Usain
Yeah.
Bolt can still win the Olympics and have scoliosis, obviously you can still be a massively successful, insanely talented feat of an athlete, right? But
Yes.
he also had to adjust for
Hmm.
having scoliosis. So be realistic about the fact that like you can't treat your body like everybody else's body because it's
Yeah.
not. And it doesn't mean that it's bad. It's just different, and respect the
And
difference,
it's a
advocate for it.
it's a hard lesson, especially as like a younger person. That's really hard to swallow. And like if you're listening to this and like that's a really disheartening thing to hear, I get it. I was disheartened when I first started like coming up against my limitations, but trust that your body wants you to be happy and trust that like this is actually your path to feeling more whole and feeling more connected to your body. And also just that like everybody eventually is going to have to start doing this. Like of course it sucks being an 18-year-old or a 22-year-old or whatever age that's like deemed as young and healthy and already feeling those limitations, but everybody's going to have to do this at some point. I have friends who hurt their knee in soccer when they were 16 and they're still having to make adjustments in their life. Like, we're all eventually going to have to start working around our body's limitations, even if they have perfectly straight spines or not, like that's just part of the human condition.
Yeah, a lot of injuries don't quite heal, or we push through them and they get re-injured, or
Yeah.
there's all these
And we all have
ways.
imbalances
Yeah,
on either side and
yeah,
little things that's like, oop, I can't do that. And a
yeah,
lot of this is
and
just learned the hard way.
there's so many different ways to take care of your health. There's not one way,
Hmm.
like if walking longer than 30 minutes starts to hurt your back, then you can do like water aerobics, or you can try doing
Hmm.
stuff where you're laying on your back and you're exercising, or you're sitting in a chair and you're exercising. Like there are so many ways to move your body. So if it
Mm-hmm.
just takes you a second to figure out what is the most you friendly way to move your body, then I think that's always worth figuring out. Like, and be
Yeah.
patient with yourself as
Yeah.
you figure it out. And then trust
It's
what
a journey.
works, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
if somebody wants to shame you for it, like shame on them, but like don't let that get to you and make you stop doing what you figured out for yourself works.
Yes. Huzzah. I love that. I feel like probably a lot of people with scoliosis already know this, but some of the exercises that I've been playing with lately have been like reformer Pilates. Like I've done Pilates, but I just started doing reformer Pilates because my friend is an instructor. She just got a new job at a reformer Pilates studio like right down the street. So I've been going to that and that it's been great. I really like it and it's literally designed for people. He started it around World War II, like in Germany, like dealing with people who were like injured in war and were in medical beds, like couldn't move, couldn't get out of bed. And it's like, how can we still do physical therapy while laying down or with these like horrifying injuries? And like that's the beginning of that workout type. And I'm like, oh, well, I should probably be doing that one. And it takes into account like it's like a lot of like physical therapy exercises. And
Mhm.
then bar classes have been really fun too because it's so much like core and glute activation. And then using the ballet bar, which I'm sure you are very aware of, is super helpful for always helping that rotation and alignment. I feel
Yeah.
like those two between Pilates and bar classes have been really helpful for I'm like every time I'm doing one of those classes, I'm like, this is exactly what my body craves. Like this is exactly what I need. Like I like doing weightlifting and kind of more of those like high energy cardio classes and stuff. Like those can be really fun, but when I'm doing those, I tend to feel like my body can't quite keep up and my pride is involved a little
Mhm.
more. Like I'm a little more, and it's also yoga, which can feel really good, but my pride gets a little
Like our
wrapped up in
egos start
there.
to have a little bit of a field day.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
is ironic because they're always talking about how like don't think about your ego in yoga, but I am. But Pilates and bar classes of my body, it's like, ooh, girl, more of this. Let's do more of this. So try
I do
those if
think
you want.
that one thing that's key, and this actually brings me to my next hack, which is how to support yourself in as many positions throughout your day as possible. From your
Hmm.
car, how you sit in your car. If you go to a movie theater, you sit in the movie theater. If you sit in
Yeah.
a chair on your couch, chair, office chair, like the ergonomic factor of everything matters so much, especially if you think about the compounding nature of time involved sitting in
Hmm.
those chairs, right? I used to not be able to sit through a movie like ever. That
Me
was always my
same. Oh my
problem. Is like
God.
I could never sit through a whole movie. I'd always have to like get up and move, or I'd be so
Hmm.
uncomfortable that by the time the movie ended, I could like barely walk out.
And we love movies.
I know it's
We're
like our whole life.
actors.
Like, and same thing on the couch. Right? I just like I couldn't. I could neither sit nor stand that long, right? Ever.
Hmm.
And one thing that it feels silly at first, maybe, but like figuring out ways to like prop myself up so that I am
Hmm.
not holding my body that whole time. And one of the things that helps a lot is like if I am watching a movie, I actually try to sit all the way back in the chair and then like square my shoulders and like make
Yes.
the chair hold me.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I think that other people who are non-scoliotic must just feel like that all the time because their spine's just holding them.
Yeah, they're like, what else would hold me?
Yeah, and
You
but
don't have to
like
think
for
about it.
us, if the chair is not holding us, we have to like hold ourselves the whole
Hmm.
time. So sitting is exhausting, right? Like it hurts, it's tiring, right? My breathing always gets weird. I start yawning a lot because I'm like my lungs are getting
Yeah.
crushed. And I'm like,
Same.
it's just this like problem. And so one thing that helps is when I drive and when I sit in a movie theater or I sit at a restaurant, I always try to, I don't sit in the booth if I can. I always try to sit in the chair. because it's
Mm-hmm.
easier usually, unless it's super deep, to like put my butt
Yeah.
all the way back against the chair. Even in my car, I like put my car seat more forward, like a little
Mm-hmm.
granny, but
Yeah,
all the
same
way back
here. I'm
so that I can
tall,
like
and people are always
check,
like,
yeah, so I can check that my shoulders are touching and that my head is
mm-hmm.
touching. So I'm like correcting the forward head position, like, because what
Oh, you're
kills
doing
me is
this.
if I lean forward like that. Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
the same for restaurants. And I catch myself at restaurants. I like put all my weight on my arms. And that's just a sign that my back is getting really tired. And
Mm-hmm.
so if I'm at the movies, anything, I try to like square up and just like
I'm like doing it right now.
yeah, and like let the chair hold me as long as I
Mm-hmm.
can. And then if I need to move and I move and I, you know, shift out of it for a while, then fine. But as soon as I get that, like, oh, I'm uncomfortable, I used to just like sink lower and like lean more forward and like
Yeah.
more, like collapse more out of just a subconscious like fatigue. And now I'm
And
like,
it's so
okay,
easy to just like fall into that rotation.
yeah, yeah. And my
I
tell is
know
usually that I
my,
start holding up my head with my hand.
mm-hmm.
You know, it's like I lean my elbow and I hold up my head, and it's because my back is literally like, we can't hold your head anymore.
I can't do this anymore. We have the same experience. That's so funny. The way my heart sinks when we go into a restaurant and like all of the restaurant or the tables are like high tops with like stools. I'm
Oh
like,
my God, I can't. I'm
this
the
is gonna
worst. Yeah.
suck. And then everybody's like, should we do another round? Should we do another round? And I'm like, no. Like, can I get home, please? I just need to lay down. Like I
Yeah.
love a back to my chair.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I upgraded to my little, it's too low. You can't see it, but it has a back versus what I was sitting on before was just a stool and I was dying.
Which is
Um,
like, what are we doing?
what are
Doing
we
a
doing?
scoliosis podcast on stools.
The
Like this is
irony.
exhibit A of what
Hmm.
not to do.
Of how not, yeah. I mean, see, like even now, like I
Yeah,
yawn. It's not because I'm tired. It's just because we've been sitting, and so
because
like my ribs get,
yeah,
like my
I know
lungs
my
get a
back
little
is actually
crushed.
starting to like
Yeah.
talk to me a little bit.
So it
But
is,
while we're talking about like driving and stuff like that, like what about traveling? Because I know you have some traveling life
yeah.
hacks.
So when I'm traveling, if it's a road trip, obviously then how I sit in the car is big. I usually try to put a lumbar roll of some kind to
Yeah,
force my back to arch so it doesn't overly round because I have
shrimp.
degeneration in my lower three discs. Yeah, so anything where I start rounding my back, it just triggers everything. And
Mm.
then in hotels, if the pillows are not comfortable, I will roll up a towel and sort of slide it inside the pillowcase as like a neck
Brilliant.
roll to like place my head more correctly, as well as trying to put something between my knees at night when I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
Sure, if I sleep on my side.
Yeah, the
Um,
like a pillow between my legs is really helpful because like I'll just like kind of fall into
yeah,
a collapse into the rotation a little and then I'll wake up not feeling good. And then the hotel pillows tend to be the ones that's like they look so fluffy and then you put your head on them and then they just totally flatten out. Like
yeah,
if I can, specifically on a road trip, like I'll bring my special pillow.
yeah. I will definitely
Like
travel with pillow, with my
yeah,
scoliosis pillow.
always
Yeah.
travel with my pillow. And if I'm flying and I can't fit it, have a moment of sadness. Just like just like, okay, I'm gonna
I
make
like
sure to do
cry a
my
little bit.
PT.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah, and I
always do
do
my PT
travel with a
before
tennis
bed and
ball. I almost always travel
hmm
with some kind of tennis ball or muscle release
yeah.
ball, whether that's a baseball. A golf ball is usually a little too intense, so I usually try to pick like a lacrosse ball or a tennis ball,
Yeah, with a little bit of
um,
like
a
give
little
to
bit more
it.
give. Yeah, and if I don't have that, I will like fold up towels and just lay on them in the corrections, like in like a
Hmm.
corrective wedge at the chiropractor or for PT. The other thing is like if you're sitting on an airplane for a really long time, again, it's like trying to square up and allow what you
Hmm.
can to support you. I actually received as a gift one of those head pillows where you like strap your head to the
Strap
thing.
it. That's
And
brilliant.
I have a hard time like installing it. I feel so stupid.
You're like,
Um,
hi.
But, for like an international flight, if you're on that plane for like 9, 11 hours or whatever, that can be
Do
a
what you gotta
game
do.
changer. The other thing is like keeping my legs activated helps my
Hmm.
spine. So I try to get up and, I'm probably annoying to the people around me, but I try to get up and go to the bathroom, which I force myself to drink a lot of water on planes so that I have to go, like
You will get up.
yeah, so I will get up and do it. And when I do it, I try to like do like, like little crab walks or like little squat, like something to like move. And they don't want you like
Hmm.
full on doing yoga in the plane. Like that became a thing for a while, and so they like really don't want you to like do any
You're
of
like,
that.
stop. You're weirding everybody out.
But if you do a couple calf raises, you do a couple small like squats, you do a couple little lunges, and you like arch your back a
Hmm.
little bit and like pick up and just like try to fight gravity actively for a second.
Hmm.
It can really help just get through the travel because the travel itself can wreck you. And then,
I
depending
know. And then you
on,
have your carry-on bag and your suitcase, and you're just like
yeah.
lugging,
I
and you're
also
tired.
always
Traveling can be
bring
hard.
my backpack that goes on my suitcase. And like, even if I don't
Brilliant.
need that much luggage, I will bring the rolling suitcase as a check-in just to carry my backpack. So that
Yeah.
I don't, but because my backpack has, I mean, I'm always running around with like a lot of books and notebooks, so that's part of it. But if I have my
Hmm.
laptop, my books, my notebooks, whatever, my backpack is too heavy for me to realistically lug around an airport all day long. So I will always bring my carry-on rolling bag to roll my backpack, basically.
That's so smart. I need to do that because I have just opted for just embracing the pain or just not bringing stuff. Like it's like one or the other where it's
Yeah.
like both are robbing me of something. Like either I'm not bringing my books and my laptop or I'm just gonna like know that my shoulders and back are gonna be killing me by the end of the day. Not a
Yeah. I
great
mean,
option.
I feel like when I was younger, I could do that. I could kind of push through and be like, "Ugh,
Hmm.
it's going to be an Advil day tomorrow." But I think I'm actually at the point now where I just can't risk that injury because if I tweak my back traveling, I might not be able to do the thing I'm supposed to do once I get to the destination, like at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. If it's just
That's
a for fun vacation, it's like you don't want to be in pain
And
on
you
your
don't want to
fun
be that
vacation.
person that's constantly needing help. Like, I mean,
Hmm.
sometimes it's inevitable, and hopefully you're with people who love and understand and don't mind helping you. They're honored to help you, and that's how you know
Yeah.
they're your tribe. But if you are, it just sucks. It takes away from the fun. You can't like relax and let loose. You can't dance when the good song comes on because you're like
Yeah.
crippled,
You're
you
like,
know?
oh.
So yeah, that's something I like make it a point to basically my goal when I travel is that there is nothing weighing down my body. Like I don't have even the smallest crossbody purse. I try to have that be living in my backpack, which lives on my roller, so that I am just holding the
Yes.
roller bag and I will take turns rolling it between the different arms. I will push it with both if I have
Hmm.
to. I don't care if I look dumb.
And like, is it the four wheel one so you
Yeah,
can just push it too? You're
yeah,
not
and I try to
weighing it?
just have it come with me, and it's literally there to carry my purse and backpack.
I am gonna do that. I'm gonna do that too because I just got one of those four wheel rollers for carry on, and I'm gonna do that with my backpack. I actually have on my traveling section of the life hack list is pull the scoliosis card if you can. Like if you are if you need help, like just like you're traveling with friends or like your partner or something, like just be honest. Specifically now that I'm like an adult in my 30s, this is less of an issue, but when I was like in college, one of the hard things was like if you're traveling, normally there's going to be like it's like the thing where it's like six people sharing one hotel room or something, and there's going to be some people sleeping on the floor or sleeping on the couch, and really learning how to advocate for yourself, another advocation is not a word. Self-advocacy moment of like, I have scoliosis. I need to sleep on the bed. Like just kind of
Yep.
embracing that. I have slept on way too many floors as a person with scoliosis. I probably should have never slept on the floor, but I was like, no, 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 don't mind me. I'm easy. I'm happy to be here. And so I would sleep on the floor and then like be a cranky, in pain curmudgeon for the rest of the trip, like trying to hide it. And then I'm
Yeah.
like not fully present because my back hurts. And like it started a few years ago where like even on this last trip we went on, we were all sharing an Airbnb and there were more people than beds. And it was like not even a conversation. I was like, I'm getting a bed. Like, sorry. That's just how it's going to go. And it was fine. Everybody was fine with it. And ultimately, people are going to be fine with it. But like, you just have to kind of pull that card sometimes and just be okay with that.
And I also think that if you're traveling in an environment where you know it's going to be hard on your back, like when I went to visit my relatives in Japan a couple of years ago, and I went with my dad, and like, my dad has not traveled with me much. I did a lot of traveling as a dancer, but it wasn't with my dad. It was with my company or with
Hmm.
my friends or
Yeah.
maybe just my mom if it was like for competition tour or whatever. And so, I warned him and he knows. And I even traveled with my brace then. So it was like a whole thing.
Yeah.
But there were a couple times where like we just walked so much, right? Because in Japan you do a lot of walking, and when you're going from train station to train station and this and that, I think there was a day we did 22,000 steps. Like that's a lot of walking. And there was a
Hmm.
time where I was like, I like really need to sit down. Like we've been walking and walking and walking in that kind of like slow pace, like carrying stuff. Again, this is why it makes such a difference to try to not have a bag around your shoulders, because like the
Yeah.
smallest weight over time is
That gravity
still,
just
whew.
starts to pull.
And I was just in a lot of pain. And I was like, Dad, I gotta sit down. And he was like trying to find a specific restaurant that he remembers going to in the train station. We were just like wandering around. And I finally had to be like, no, like, I mean, like now. Like, this isn't
Yeah.
like, oh, when
I'm
we get to the
collapsing.
place, it's like I have to find a place to sit down like immediately. And
Hmm.
it was a little bit of a wake up call for me that like I did not get across to him that like when I do speak up about it, it's not just me
It's already
venting,
too far.
it's
Yeah.
already happening. And so,
Hmm.
you know, it was inconvenient for what he was trying to do. And I felt bad that like we didn't find the restaurant he wanted to find. But I was also like, I won't make it to that restaurant. Like I'm gonna end
Yeah.
up just getting stuck
Gonna
right
be eating
here in the middle
alone.
of this
So,
train station. Yeah. And just understanding that there comes a point where you have to be that person. You can't just keep
hmm.
it to yourself and you can't minimize it too much. Of course, you don't want to abuse it and you don't want to
No.
use it to take advantage of anybody you are traveling with, but you do need to make it clear to them that by the time you are mentioning that a problem has either come up or is about to, it's not a dismissible statement. It's like
Yeah.
we're going to have to adjust our plan now statement. And
Yeah.
sometimes, again, self advocacy, just being clear with everybody before it happens that, like, if I say
Hmm.
this thing, it is not me being difficult. It is actually reached a point where, like, I might not get to go on that part of the trip with you.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be more difficult later. Like,
Yeah.
and the fact that I'm bringing it up, like, I know for me, and it sounds like for you too, it's like by the time I'm bringing it up, it's already been a thing. It's already been happening for a while. It's like now I have to say it. So it's like, it, to them, it might sound like, oh, it's just like a small thing we need to start to think about. But it's like, by the time I'm mentioning it, we're probably already too far gone. So it's like, I need to learn how to say it even before that and be
Yeah.
like, this is what I'm going to have to do. It's so funny. I feel like a lot of people in my life, they like, they don't know what is and isn't okay with my back. Like sometimes I'll go in to like hug my aunt or something and she'll be like, "Oh, can I hug you? Is that okay for your back?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like hug me. Like you can hug me. That feels very nice." For a million reasons, it feels nice to be hugged. Or like they'll think something that's like pretty light or moderate. That's very much so in my like that's doable thing. They're like, "Oh no, no, watch out. Don't worry about your like I'm scared for your back." And I'm like, "No, I can do this. This is okay." And then for other big things, it's like I need to remind them like, I can't quite do that because of my back." And they're like, "Huh?"
Like sometimes there's like a disconnect that happens. Like one thing my parents did, which like, God bless them. But I like during COVID when I had to like leave my apartment and blah blah blah, like my mattress from
Hmm.
that apartment ended up back at my parents' house because it was like in storage for a while and then it whatever.
Hmm.
And I don't mind because I actually love my mattress now that I bought. So I'm kind of like, you guys can keep it. Anyway, they put
You
it in
can
my
have it.
brother's old room. And in my room, they like totally redecorated my room because, I mean, I'm 36. I've been out of the house for almost 21 years now. So yeah, they should do something with that room. So they like redid that room and it's now like a sofa that has like a pull-out trundle to like make it a sleepable surface. But it is
Yeah.
not a mattress. It is not even. It's a little too short. Like it's a couch sofa pull-out trundle bed that's not a very it's not really
Hmm.
meant to be slept on long term.
Yeah, like this is
And
like a you're crashing at my house for the
yeah.
night.
And I had to
Yeah.
and I was like, surely they don't plan on having me of everybody in the family sleep on that the whole time. And they did. And so my mom goes, well, I got you a foam pad to soften the top. And I was like, right. That's not really the problem. The problem is that
Yeah,
the
like
actual
actually too soft is
surface
not even.
is like this. And
Hmm.
so I'm not only already crooked, but I'm also now sleeping on an extra crooked, not comfortable surface.
Not good.
And it went on for like a few years where I'd like ask, thinking like, surely they would
Surely.
understand why this is not a great idea. And it just like just didn't. So finally, when I went home to shoot Cleaning Lady, now granted, if my brother is there and he has his significant other there with him, I am not going to be like, you guys sleep on the pull-out couch. I'm taking the
Hmm.
queen bed. But I also was like, hey guys, do you think that if we're all there for more than a couple days, like I can manage a day or two, but if
Yeah.
we're there for like a whole week, can we just figure out something? Even if it's like a bedroll on the ground, it just needs to be a
Hmm.
better situation than this thing.
Just a flat,
Yeah, and so thankfully
flat
when I was
bedroll.
there
Yeah.
shooting, because I ended up being there shooting for like a month, I didn't know it was going to be that long, right? When I first went, it was like eight
Hmm.
days and then it got extended and whatever. So I actually just demanded, I was like, I'm taking my brother's room. Like I'm sleeping in there. I can keep all my stuff in my like I don't, you guys can use that room for whatever, but like I'm sleeping on the real bed. Like I'm
Yeah.
not doing this for a month. And it still kind of boggles my mind that it like doesn't seem to register, but that's one of those things. It's like
Yeah.
I think like I'm notorious for being able to sleep anywhere, which is true. I can sleep sitting, standing,
That's amazing.
in a back, and it's because I could sleep in a back brace. I think it's actually just because since the age of 10,
Oh,
I had to
wow.
figure out how to
Yeah.
sleep like while being wildly uncomfortable. And so I can now, if I am tired, I can sleep even if I am wildly uncomfortable, which like
Superhero.
cool.
Yeah.
However, that doesn't mean that that is good for me to sleep. So I think there's been
Yeah.
like a little misunderstanding with my family over the years of like,
Like just because I can doesn't mean I
just because
should.
you find me sleeping in a weird position in a weird
You're like,
space doesn't mean that I should sleep anywhere. Like
yeah.
the the quality of the bed and the pillow and everything actually matters a lot. But it was like a conversation I had to have. And I do think that just like being patient and then advocating for yourself as far in advance as possible, it's such a learning experience. Like you and I were both
Hmm.
relating, like, oh, I should have said
I'm
something
working on
sooner.
it today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like be willing to go through that slightly uncomfortable moment because it is
Hmm.
important and it does make a difference. And it is kind of the only way to get self-care at times is there are certain situations where you have to involve other people and
Yeah.
be willing to do that even if it feels weird because Man, if I had had to do that whole month of filming on a sofa bed, I would have
Ugh.
died. On a
And then
sofa bed
going
that's
on
not meant to
set,
be a sofa bed. Yeah.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
and then going on set where you're on set for like 12, 14 hours sometimes,
Yeah.
and like a lot of that's just standing around. Like
Hmm.
being on set is really hard on my back too. Like still working on finding some life hacks for that.
Well,
Now I just hope I can be on set long enough to learn the life hacks.
you will. Trust me, you will. I find that if I can, I go back to my trailer. That's number one.
Hmm.
And the unfortunate side effect of that is that sometimes people think I'm a bitch or they think I'm antisocial and I don't make as many great set friends, and that sucks.
Oh, she's a diva. It's like
Because
she
I
has
will always go back to my
scoliosis.
trailer and I won't, it's not like I'm in there hanging out and gabbing with the girls. I'm
Yeah.
laying on my back,
Yeah.
even
I
if
know
I'm on
it's
the
hard
little
with
bench
if you're in
thing
like wardrobe because like I remember you one time wearing a wedding dress for
for 16
something and like
hours.
and that wedding dress was like really uncomfortable, right? It was
Yeah.
like
I mean, it was
and then you
gorgeous.
can't just roll around on the floor
It was huge.
in a
It
wedding
was
dress.
gorgeous. It was very structured lace. And so by the end of the day, I had like cuts in my ribs and skin because as my back gets crooked, as I get tired, my ribs expand wider. And this structured lace was just like structured. And so my skin
Yeah.
was like pushing against it. And yeah, it was really uncomfortable. And because the dress was so big and it was like steamed and gorgeous and it needed to stay that way, I couldn't like
Yeah.
lie on the ground the way I would normally do it. I also couldn't get
Hmm.
in and out of it easily by myself, so I couldn't like take it off. That was a
Oof.
tough one. Yeah.
Man, that makes me feel bad for like our ancestors, like when it's like our when the corsets and like really heavy dresses were like the fashion and you just had to be in that all day. Can you imagine our little scoliosis
Oh,
sisters?
well, I would imagine that we would
That
be
would
like
hurt.
we would have just been treated as like the little sickly invalid one that has to be like carried
Yeah,
places
like take her to the
sometimes.
seaside.
They'd be like, she can't make it in the city.
Yeah, she's fragile.
Although
Basically.
some of those corsets might have acted somewhat like a back brace.
Maybe
So
they would have helped like keep it that yeah, it's like there's a way for it to be very, very uncomfortable or actually supportive.
I mean, I did an audition in a corset a couple months ago, and by the end, I was very uncomfortable because the corset was sort of pushing, it was like adding more
The wrong
correction than I could.
direction.
Well, it's more like you can only hold so much. I find this in PT too. You can only hold so much correction for so long
For
before the
so
muscles kind
long.
of go like, okay, we've had enough. And when that
Yeah, and
happens,
then they revolt.
they
Yeah.
try to go back the other way. Yeah. And that's actually the painful part. So I think it was more that I was in the corset and then it was like trying to go back the other way, and that's the discomfort.
I feel like that kind of goes in, that's like a little bit on theme. The more we're talking about it, is a lot of this stuff is like, it's just the timing of it. Like, we need to understand our own body's natural timing. Where, like, with cleaning, it's like, I'm not going to do a 3 hour cleaning sprint. I'm going to do a 15-minute cleaning or like under an hour. Or with going to the movies, it's not that sitting is hurting it, it's like sitting for too long or
Hmm.
walking for too long. Like I need to just constantly be like, I'm gonna go from sitting to my back is hurting, and now I need to go for a walk to get some movement back. But then eventually, if I walk for too long, I need to go lay down. So it's like, but if I lay down
Yeah.
for too long, my back is gonna hurt. So it's like, you kind of always just like need to find your body's clock and rhythm and find out like what is the timing. So it's like a corset can actually feel really good for a little while, but once you're hitting that 12-hour mark, you're like, this now doesn't feel so
You're like,
good.
I'm ready to not be in a corset. Yeah.
Would
Yeah.
love to switch it up. Like, I think there just needs to be a lot of variety. Like, if you have scoliosis, you just need to move around. You can't be in one position for too long or in one place for too long.
Well, and I think it's important to understand that like the purpose of your spine skeletally is it is your main shock absorber.
Mm,
It's what connects your brain to the rest of your body via your spinal cord, and it basically exists to protect that nervous system function, right?
big.
And it is a lot of how you react to the world, right? If you think about it, like your extremities sort of interact with the world first. Your eyes, your
Mm-hmm.
fingertips, your feet,
Yeah.
they're touching things, seeing things, feeling the ground, right? Like
And then
they're
giving
getting
you
all the
information.
information for you to then take in, and then your brain processes it. So your spine is protecting that pathway. And when you have scoliosis, that pathway, I like to think of it as being a not smooth paved road. So if you think
Mm-hmm.
about what it's like to drive on a brand new paved road that is like
You're like,
smooth
ooh,
like butter, and you're just like, "Ooh, do I own a race car? What is this?" Right? It's like so
so
so smooth.
luxurious.
And I always imagine that people with totally healthy spines with no scoliosis, that's what every day feels like. It's just like a
That's what life
smooth
is, huh?
paved road. Right.
Yeah.
And then you add something complicated like scoliosis, and you have like those little divots, right? You have little bumps so that your pathway just gets a little bit more tricky. And if you think about what it feels like to
Mm-hmm.
drive on like a gravel road, for example, you have to like hold the steering wheel
Yeah.
more intentionally, or your car will get like bumped off the road, right? Like you will
Mm-hmm.
not go in a straight line because there's things pushing on the wheels, and the information coming in from the sensory is more complicated as it goes up, right? So then if
Mm-hmm.
you think about, then you add in time and gravity and injuries. So then you have degeneration in your discs like I do, or you have surgeries, or you have nerve pulls,
Pinched
or you have,
nerves.
yeah. So now you're adding all this other stuff, and that's like having a pothole and having a, a crack in the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so like all the information still has to go from your extremities into your brain. But now think about how much more work is involved to just do
Mm-hmm.
that core function. And that's not even adding what your muscle system is doing. That's just your nervous system, right? So I go like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that means that if you are dealing with something like scoliosis, you have to account for in your planning of your life and your day and how you spend your time that way more energy is being spent to do the same exact thing, but
Yeah.
it's more tiring because the route to do it has stuff in the way now. And so it doesn't mean you can't do
Yeah.
it well. It doesn't mean you can't do it at a really high level. It doesn't mean you can't be an elite athlete. It doesn't mean anything is taken away from you necessarily. It just means that the amount of exertion and effort and energy involved to do that thing is higher.
Yeah.
So, the most powerful hack I can give for anybody who's about to go on a long day or a marathon or a backpacking trip is like, you have to train your stamina in increments because you cannot just
Mm-hmm.
push through your pain, but you also have to manage your rest. And I think that's what I do
Yeah.
on set is like, I'm not just trying to nap everywhere. I'm trying to rest so that I can be fully functional and doing whatever is asked of me anytime I am not resting. But that also means that basically anytime I am not being tasked with something specific, I am actively trying to rest.
It's an active rest.
It is an
This
active,
is very
intentional, like
productive.
they say cut and they're like, cool, we don't need you for the next 90 minutes. 85 of those minutes is going to be resting. The other five is drinking and peeing. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
it. Like, but that is, and it
Yeah.
does mean I'm a little less fun and I don't get to make as
I
many friends, and
know.
I'm a little, but if that's what it takes for me to perform at the level I want to perform, then that's what I have to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, we just have to have like integrity with our boundaries and understand what our boundaries are. And unfortunately, that a lot of the time, the discovery of our boundaries happens when we've passed them. Like when
Yeah.
I've pushed myself too far or I've done things out of FOMO or like worried that like, oh, I'm gonna look like I'm antisocial or something. It's like then I push myself too far and then I'm really uncomfortable. And then
Yeah.
it's like I have to walk myself back. I think these are all things I'm going to be learning for the rest of my life, and I'm going to have more and more. I have one more Disneyland.
Oh,
So, Disneyland is kind of in that same realm of like we're walking all day. Like, you can go to Disneyland or Disney World or any kind of amusement park, and you're getting like 30,000 steps in. But I just found out that apparently at Disneyland, and I have never utilized this, so I don't know. And my husband and I are like low-key Disney adults, so the fact that I'm learning this now that I don't live near Disneyland is heartbreaking. But apparently you can get disability access services. So what you do, and we had to use this when my husband had a broken foot, but I didn't know that you could also use it for scoliosis, is you go to their disability access service kiosk before you get into the park, and you explain to them why you need it, why you like what your disability is. And if you're in a wheelchair or you have some very clear uh clear problem, they'll give it to you pretty much right away. But if it's something more invisible like scoliosis, you have to explain it. And you basically just explain why standing for long periods of time hurts you. And they basically give you like a magic pass, like a magic key pass to kind of skip standing in the line. So you'll go to a kiosk and they'll give you like a disability access voucher, and that's probably going to be on your phone now. And you go to a ride, say, or an attraction, because it's Disneyland. It's not a ride, it's an attraction. You go to like Indiana Jones, for example, and it's a 2 hour wait right now. And what they tell you to do is they just put you in a virtual queue, and then you can go around the rest of the park, do whatever you want, sit down, stand up, whatever, and come back at the window of the virtual queue. And then you get let on to the ride. So you don't have to stand in the lines,
Mm,
which
that's
is a
awesome.
lot. Yeah, because you're on your feet all day. And so if you could spend that time rather than standing in line, you are just sitting at a cafe, eating a little snack and doing what you need to do, and then you come back at your window. I think it's not something I would utilize unless I was in a lot of pain that day or had like a specific thing like flaring. But I've been to Disneyland like a dozen times and I've never utilized that. And there's so many times where I'm like dying by the end of the day. So that's good to know that that's an option. So that's cool.
Actually, that reminds me of one more little travel hack I have, which is that a lot of airports have either a yoga room, a meditation room, or a prayer room. And if you need a
Yeah.
place to go lie down, that's a
Oh.
really good place to go because it will be quiet. It's usually got some kind of seating or a mat. And I mean, you might want to bring wipes or a towel or, like I don't know if it's a
It's an
public thing.
airport.
It's still an airport, but
Yeah.
I remember I had a day where my flight kept getting bumped and I was in Chicago Midway Airport for like 8 hours. And they have a meditation yoga room with little mats and things. And it was just a lifesaver to be able to like take off my shoes, set my stuff down, and just like do a little mobility and like move my body and stretch in
Mm.
private and not like in the middle of the
Yeah,
airport.
I've seen people doing it in like the public of the airport, and you're like, good for you, man, for feeling so confident, but I'd rather do it in the privacy of the meditation room. That's great.
Yeah. So if you don't see one, I would ask the ticket counter and be like, does this airport have one? I have a injury that I need to, or I have a back condition that I need to,
Yeah, I need to
do.
go take care of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. I love it all. I feel like I learned a lot. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And if you want to hear your question answered, leave it in the comments or email it to twistbesties@gmail.com. We'll link that in the show notes as well for you. Any articles or references in today's episode will also be linked there. As always, thank you so much for being a part of our Twist Tea community, and we'll see you next time.